Sunrise Summer, written by Matthew Swanson and illustrated by Robbi Behr. It's summer again, my favorite time of year. Some families pack swimsuits and sandals when they go on vacation. Mine packs onions and potatoes, also doorknobs and batteries, and spark plugs for a Ford 150. Our trip takes 2 days and 4 flights and 4,000 miles. It's summer again, so we're headed to Alaska. Some beaches have boardwalks and lifeguards and smooth white sand. Our beach has pebbles and mud and upside-down jellyfish. I use a stick to turn them upside up. Last summer, I picked tundra berries and made forts in Mole Kingdom. Last summer, I sat in the truck bed watching the fishing crew fish. This summer, I will join the fishing crew. While my brothers chase lemmings on the tundra and leap from rusted truck beds on the bluff and search for agates on the waterline, I will help twist 6-foot anchor poles into the sand. I will drag endless ropes through knee-deep mud. I will fetch water from the spring at Coffee Point. Mama says she thinks the fish are coming soon. Auntie Mako says she saw beluga at high tide, and Uncle Raji says, "Who wants a chocolate bar?" People on the fishing crew get chocolate bars. Mama and I catch a ride across the river to check the mail in Ejigik. 106 people live there in the winter, when the fish are out to sea and it's only light 3 hours a day. In summer, the streets are full of people who come from far away to catch the fish and ship them somewhere else. Mama and I keep an eye on the river, waiting for the salmon to come. Until they come, we keep busy, mending the nets, repainting the outhouse, making a pie to thank Cody for fixing our truck, then card games. Then we listen to the fish report. The salmon are coming, it says. We rush to the window. The salmon are here. Mama and I keep an eye on the moon. The moon shapes the tides. The tides say when we fish. The tides say that we'll fish at 4 a.m. The alarm goes off at 2:30 a.m., but my brothers keep on sleeping. Breakfast is hot chocolate and cold curry rice. The fishing crew wears rubber waders and special gloves that come up past our elbows and woolly hats, even though it's June. We keep an eye out for grizzlies who sleep all day and prowl the beach at night. We start by stacking the nets. It's raining, but we don't even notice. We like it when the wind whips. We don't get nervous when the waves are high. We're here to fish. It's what we do. At 4 a.m. sharp, Auntie Mako gives a signal. Uncle Raji pulls his raft into the waves. Mama drives the truck, which drags the net into the water. My job is tying the net to the rope. I've practiced the knot, but the tide is strong and pulling hard. The rope is wet and smells like fish. The mud is slippery and slick. That's why there is a fishing crew. The net fills up with fish. We pick the salmon out by hand. They're heavy and they're slimy, and I need both hands to throw them in the tote. I drive them to the buyer, and no one says I shouldn't or I can't. The rules are different here, just like everything else. Mama and I eat cold spaghetti on the bluff, while rain blows sideways up our noses. It's what we do. Some people never get to see the sunrise over Bristol Bay. Some people don't get a second chance to tie their first knot. Some people never get to join the fishing crew. Those people are not me. Hello, I'm Robbi. I drew the pictures for this book. My husband Matthew wrote the words. Our children, Alden, Cato, August, and Jasper, are the kids you met in this book. When I was 2, my parents bought a piece of land in a place called Coffee Point, a bump in the tundra at the mouth of the Ejigik River, as part of a commercial salmon fishing venture. They had never fished before, they had never even been to Alaska, but they were looking for adventure and a fun way for our family to spend the summer together. They got plenty of both. Our part of Alaska is very remote. No roads leads to Coffee Point. To get there, we fly in a jet from Anchorage to King Salmon, and then charter a tiny bush plane across the tundra to the beach in front of our cabin. There are no stores at Coffee Point, which is why we bring fresh fruits and vegetables with us. Anything that won't fit in our coolers has to be shipped on a barge from Seattle. There are no paved roads in Coffee Point, no public water, no electric grid. The beach is our highway. We use an empty jug and a plastic tube to collect fresh water from a spring. We gather power from the wind and sun. We have to be resourceful and creative in solving any problems we run into. We also ask for help when we need it, which is all the time. People take care of each other up there. We fish for sockeye salmon, which hatch in narrowed streams and swims across a massive lake and down a river and out to the ocean. A few years later, they are all grown up and come back to lay their eggs in the exact same stream where they hatch. Amazing! The fish follow the same path traveled by the Alaskan natives who have relied on the salmon for centuries. The village of the Ijikik, right across the river from the Coffee Point, was the summer fishing camp for the Aloud people who kayaked or walked the 70 miles from their winter home of Kanatak. Some of their descendants still live in Ijikik, continuing the traditional lifestyle by catching fish, hunting and trapping, and gathering berries and wild greens. Alaska natives still catch, dry, smoke, and freeze as many salmon as they need for eating over the winter. But most of the fishermen, including us, are catching fish to sell as a business. The salmon are a precious and valuable natural resource. In order to keep the river system from being overfished, people are not allowed to catch salmon without a special permit. We have 3. 4 times a day throughout the summer fishing season, biologists who work for the Alaskan Department of Fish and Game broadcast a fish report that tells us how many salmon have made it up the river to lay their eggs. By keeping track of the number of fish that lay their eggs this year, the fish and game scientists make sure there will be plenty of salmon coming back next year and all the years after that. There are strict rules about what time we can put our nets in the water and when we have to take them back out. Once enough fish have made it up the river, the biologists let us fish. The nets we use to fish are called gill nets because the salmon swim into them and get caught around their gills. We are the set net fishermen, which means we do our fishing from the shore, where the nets are set in place. We create a huge rectangle of rope with anchors and pulleys at each corner and attach our nets to the rope. At the exact second that the Department of Fish and Game says we're allowed to begin, we use our truck to drag the nets into the water, and then we cross our fingers that there are fish. There are also drifters who fish farther from the shore and pull their nets behind them in boats. Once our nets are in the water, we wait for them to fill up with fish. Then we pull ourselves along the net in a small rubber raft and remove each salmon by hand. As soon as the raft is full, we sell the salmon to people in large trucks with cranes that lift and weigh our fish, who drive them up the beach to the processing plant where they are cut into fillets, frozen, and shipped all over the world. In an average summer, our family catches about 10,000 fish, not including the ones we eat. We are so grateful that we get to spend our summer in this magical place and so pleased to share a tiny bit of it with you. If you ever find yourself in our distant corner of Alaska, please stop by and fix our truck, and we'll gladly bake you a pie.